That's what they always think, and it's really not that. So listen, the star thing. Explain on right here on Caneville Footballville with us. The stars project what they're doing in high school or project what they will be in college.
So that's it. I can only speak to 24/7 Sports.
That's all I want you to talk about.
And I think there's a lot of confusion. So when you look at a 24/7 Sports profile, you're going to see 2 star rankings. You're going to see the one on the top, that's the composite.
Right.
Then you see the one below it, which is the smaller one, it's the 24/7 Sports one. So the composite is a combination of 247 Sports, ESPN, and Rivals. It's a formula. I don't know. It takes every ranking and it spits out a number.
Gotcha.
Okay, that is the big one. So that's industry generated is the term.
Just learn something.
All right.
You knew that? You knew that? I guess I'm reading it.
The bottom one is the 24/7 Sports one. So how we have it set up, and it's to be modeled after the NFL draft. And this was all framework put in before me. You know, I'm a spokesman for it now. But I agree with all of it. Right. Obviously, I believe in it. There's a rankings council of people. I'm on it. There's 8 people. We do a call every week. And what we're trying to do with the 24/7 Sports rankings is project to the next level, the NFL. So if you're a 4-star, we think you're a guy that will play in the NFL.
Projecting to the NFL.
Yes. That's why we only have 32 5-stars to model after the 32 first-round picks. So we don't just.
That makes sense now.
And once you get a 5-star, you keep a 5-star.
Right.
So it's very. I think right now we only have like 8. Okay, and then maybe the opening finals, right? I remember Amon-Ra St. Brown 2 years ago. He tore up something, and we're like, all right, they're just going to give him his 5th star. I remember Barton Simmons made that decision that day. But normally it's closer to signing days when it's finalized. But yeah, so you have 32 first round. The 32 5-stars are essentially we're saying, hey, we think these guys are 5-stars.
Yeah.
Right. And then you would go 25 to 100. That's day 2, 2nd to 3rd.
So all of it is projection too.
Yes. So that's why. So if we say a kid's a high 3-star, we're saying you could be a very, 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 very good college player.
Right.
We're just saying maybe for this reason or that, we don't know if necessarily you are an NFL roster guy. And obviously you're going to miss. Everyone misses. Obviously you're going to be wrong. But that is the idea and thought process behind the whole thing.
But once they get to college, does the stars go away on their profile?
No, they're always.
They still sit there.
They still sit there.
Well, that's just one thing you guys do that Mel Kiper and what's the name really don't do. I mean, it's right there for you to just look at. Every time you pull it up, it's right there to look at. Yeah. So you're projecting to the NFL.
Right.
That's why it's not as many 5-stars.
Right. That's why. That's why you'll go out there, right? And you'll see a kid. Let's say it's like a Chris Graves. So he's a kid that was going to visit Miami the first weekend. Chris Graves is a wide receiver turned corner, extremely raw. Okay, he's gonna be raw as anything. You're gonna see him, and you're gonna be like, wow, they think this kid's a 4-star. But we're not thinking, hey, we're not expecting this kid to line up week 1 against Alabama.
Right.
We're trying to think in 4 and 5 years based on what we know, based on how we've studied the NFL draft, how we've evaluated him. We think this kid has a very, very good chance of making it to the league. Why? Because we've studied all the corners that have been drafted. A majority of them also played offense in high school. Yeah. A majority of them are right around sub 1100 meter dash guys. He's 1101. Right. A majority of them, I think there's like one corner was under 5'11" that was drafted. So obviously you got to be long. So that's the whole thought process behind it. And then everything goes into it. It's in-game evaluations. It's film. It's statistics. Testing's huge. Everyone thinks it's just we see them and that's the ranking and that's it. It's
a little deeper, a lot deeper than that sounds like.
Yeah, it goes back and forth, and you're comparing that guy to a kid in Texas, and it's not just me watching it; it's 7 other people that are watching it. Right. So, there's a lot that and there's no exact formula, and you're always trying to get better.
No, there's no exact formula. So how do you feel about South Florida kids? So now you're venturing to Georgia, right?
Right.
South Florida kids, I was told by Florida State recruiter that basically they don't even look at South Florida kids' height, weight. It's because they're not eating right, anything that nature. But South Florida talent is like elite when you start comparing it to other states. It's different. It has to be hard for y'all to do when you're comparing, like Bryce Brown back then. I don't even know if you remember that.
I remember him.
Arthur Brown and Bryce Brown, and they were the number one in the nation, and trying to compare them and their competition to a kid, to Dalvin Cook, who's playing against, week in, week out, he's being challenged by kids that can actually tackle him.
Absolutely. And I think the best thing that's helped me is getting exposure going into Georgia or going to national tournaments or going to the opening finals. Like, am I qualified? Like, did I work in an NFL scouting department? No, but for the past 8 years, I've seen every elite recruit in some type of setting.
Right.
So you develop a Rolodex and you can compare those guys. And, we try to, again, referencing the NFL draft, we have a general idea of how many guys from the state of Florida are selected every year. So it's,
right.
I think that number's right around like 36, something like that. So when we compile a top 24/7, all that's taken into account. Now we could think, hey, it's a really good year in Florida. Maybe we're going to have 40 guys in there. But we're always trying to check and balance ourselves. Like, you're never going to see, 35 quarterbacks in there because 35 quarterbacks aren't getting drafted. That number is only max 12, 13, 14. So, and that's what makes those events so good is the opening, it's 7-on-7. They're not in pads, but yeah, you're right. But when you get these guys going through the same drills, you can kind of stack them when you go back and compare them on film. So that's kind of
Right. So when they all get in the same arena is when you have to do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's when you have to make okay.
But yes, and look, guys can have bad days. But I'm saying if you took a wide receiver from Pennsylvania, a wide receiver from Georgia, a wide receiver from California, one from Florida, one from Texas, and they're all running the same 6 drills over and over again, you can kind of figure out how it's the same thing they do at the NFL Combine.
Right.
So that's why those things are important. Obviously, that's the ideal situation, but sometimes it doesn't happen, and then the All-American games